Welcome back to the show, everybody. Check out these headlines. 678 million XRP. Decentralized justice. ETHGate just got bigger. Hinman's back is against the ropes. We're going to get into it. Jack McDonald and Polysign. You're going to love what he's got to say about this year in crypto. We got the Luna US Terra. The fix is in, and you're going to see it today. 2.4 billion Bitcoin added to wallets. It's all tied together, ladies and gentlemen. And Coinbase, possibly the greatest reason ever to get off of exchanges right now. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at Dig Perspectives at the top of the screen, everything that we're talking about here today. And also give us a follow on Digital Perspectives, no spaces, on TikTok. Jumping off over there right now. Here's what's not jumping off. Well, it's jumping off a cliff. It's the cryptocurrency market cap. Just had a buddy of mine send me a message and go, what in the world is going on? XRP is down. Yeah, well, so everything's down. $1.453 trillion market cap. We're off by 5.9% right now. Bitcoin 31,500 plus, Ethereum 2,300 plus. Look at this number. XRP at the number 6 spot, 46 cents. We are off by 9.8% on the 24-hour and 23.1% on the 7-day, ladies and gentlemen. But look at this. It ranged all the way down to 42 cents. Now back up to 46 cents. If I had saw that, I'm telling you right now, I'd have bought that damn dip. But you let it go down there again, let me see it. But listen, we're going to talk about some stuff today, and you want to keep this in mind when we do. Ledger, cold storage. I've got a good majority of my holdings on Ledger Nano, and I love it there, but I think I'm about to move a whole lot more there because you're going to hear some evidence about Coinbase that is just alarming, to say the least. Let's get into the news. Link underneath the video. 678 million XRP moved from anonymous whales to top exchanges. Never know where it's going, but I tell you, they're either serving ODL or there's going to be some kind of a relist moment, and I might be wrong about the way it turns out. Who knows? VeChain Foundation reports that $1.2 billion crypto treasury, but spent just $4 million in Q1. Well, I tell you what, that's a great position for a company. Shout out to Sonny over there and everything the VeChain group are doing. I need to check my portfolio and see where my holdings are on that. Not financial advice. This is a reminder. We know that 80% of central banks are pursuing central bank digital currencies. But at the same time, because we have another piece of information to look at as well, we know it's been about the plumbing, right? But also the pandemic actually got in the way of the launch of the sand dollar down here, as it was said in this article. It was launched in October of 2020. And obviously the adoption was slow to take off because they have less than 10% of the currency in circulation on the island currently right now as a CBDC. But it did say, because of the pandemic and not being able to educate, people that are going to use it, that they're going to be ramping that up and making an important vehicle going forward with the system's modernization and resilience for the financial inclusion of everyone to go along with it. So they're about to ramp up their efforts there. But speaking of the central bank plumbing and the CBDCs, don't sleep on the fact that it's also about the plumbing of the entire trading market, the capital markets, the trading of stocks and derivatives and all of these things, right? This is a very, very big deal. And this is exactly what BNY Mellon and Wells Fargo have come together with Talos to do as well. It shows the behind the scenes financial groups are looking for ways to make the crypto trade safer for institutional investors and prepare for the prospect that traditional assets like stocks, bonds, derivatives, all that will take a digital form. And with that, that means there's going to have to be a new plumbing to go along with it. I am reminded of a great book here that I've read and I've got just a little bit left of it to go, by Michael Lewis, dear friend, my Kansas fam. Shout out to Pat and Mr. Gordon there. Flash Boys, a Wall Street revolt. It's about the early days of the birth of the internet and the speed of the internet and how companies were moving as close as they could to the stock exchange to get the fiber optic sent because they wanted to cut down the millisecond delays so they wouldn't get beat out of trades. Well, this is the same thing happening all over again. And it's Wells Fargo and BNY Mellon in it. I tell you, history doesn't often repeat, but it does sometimes. And if it doesn't, it usually rhymes. And we're seeing it again. This here is Jack McDonald from Polysign. And I tell you, there's big things coming here. He has a quick little interview that I want you to hear here. And I'm actually going to move this to us. Let me get this to a point that you need to hear this. 1 second. So Jack is asked in this interview about the price of Bitcoin, where the bottom is. He doesn't have a crystal ball, but he's going to tell you what he thinks about what's going on. Listen to this from the middle way here on out as he talks about what institutions are doing and what he feels about the second half of 2022 for crypto. Take a listen.
You know, I don't have a crystal ball, and I think what the markets have taught us of late is that it's really hard to predict. I think most of us thought we'd see green all day on the screen and not see this whipsaw that we've seen in the equity markets. It feels to me like we're sniffing around for a bottom here. It feels to me like we're getting to a point of capitulation. I think what you're seeing certainly in the crypto markets is a lot of momentum and speculative investors who are getting flushed out here. We see from our business standard custody and trust a lot of interest coming from institutions. We just had a very large prospective investor come in today who feels like it's the bottom and they're looking to move into the space. And so I do think there's a lot of pent up demand. I keep reminding myself when I do my own gut check here is that the longer term fundamentals have really remained unchanged. There's nothing that we've learned fundamental to the crypto long-term story that I think has changed over the last couple of months here. We have the advantage of seeing what institutions are doing day in, day out, and big major institutions globally believe in the long-term trend, not only around the underlying blockchain technology, but more importantly, around digital assets. We are in the process of really rewriting a new operating system for capital markets. And I think that longer term thesis.
Now that just confirmed everything we just went over about Wells Fargo and BNY Mellon. They are rewiring the operating system for capital markets. All of this is pointing to large institutional money is setting up the stage to move into this space in a massive way, in an irreversible way.
Will ultimately prevail, and that the higher quality tokens and assets will prevail as well.
Mm-hmm. And then just finally here, there's been a lot of analyst calls for the second half of 2022 to see a rebound in crypto. And of course, you don't have a crystal ball, but is that what you forecast as well? You know, do you think that we will see a turnaround?
Unquestionable. I think the hodlers are going to remain steady. That's certainly what I've been doing. And as I said, if anything, I think the real money that's going to be coming into the space views this market drawdown as a real opportunity for the longer term. So
no doubt about it. Shout out to Jack McDonald. Shout out to David Schwartz and Arthur Brito for putting Polysign together even. Now let's change gears because things are getting bigger and more troubling as William Hinman's back is getting against the ropes here. I just don't see how he gets out of this. Major legal publication, Law 360 now, puts out an article that says here, the SEC asked to probe ex-officials' crypto statements now. This is pretty interesting, ladies and gentlemen. Take a look at it. Decentralized justice right here. It's from Empower Oversights, and Jason Foster retrieved the emails before. If Hinman didn't submit the speech to conflict screening, basically that division there inside the SEC that goes over all potential conflicts for each employee, then this is going to be a huge problem because the ethics office is going to be pissed and want to throw him under the bus if we force this investigation through letters from Congress. It is so important for us all to reach out. He is asked in these letters about the draft screening memos and about all the different companies and entities that he's been involved with to let them know if there need to be anybody else on this list to be aware of. And if he didn't submit the speech to this screening department, ethics screening department here, it is a huge problem. And you can go to Crypto Law, or you can go to John Deaton's page and take real action here, because we're talking about this referral is a turning point. According to the general principles of federal ethics, employees shall endeavor to avoid any actions creating the appearance that they are violating the law or ethical standards. Whether particular circumstances create an appearance that the law or the standards have been violated shall be determined from the perspective of a reasonable person with knowledge of the relevant facts. A reasonable person aware of Hinman's full conflict of interest in all matters involving Thatcher, and you know what, my braces, and I don't know why I always say Thacker and it's Thatcher, but Thatcher may perceive Hinman's actions affecting Ethereum as being a conflict of interest after Thatcher joined the enterprise Ethereum Alliance. Hinman may have violated the criminal prohibition against personally and substantially participating in particular matters that would have a direct, predictable effect on the financial interest of entities whose interests could be imputed to him. This is what we know. This is what we know. Hinman violated ethics regulations and created enough of an appearance of a potential criminal violation that an official investigation by the SEC, IG, OGE, and or Department of Justice is necessary. I'm telling you, Hinman violated ethics requirements and should be investigated by the SEC, potentially disqualified from appearing and practicing before the commission in the future. This is what we're up against, ladies and gentlemen. And let's switch gears here as moving from ETHGate as it gets tougher and tougher for William Hinman. Let's get on to the US Terra Luna Gate, right? Because I firmly believe that the institutional money has been activated to water down and crash the peg on this algorithmic stablecoin. And I tell you the word on the street here, it is my speculation that the institutions activated create max impact for the executive order as a matter of national security for crypto and stable coins. I do think it is a great question to ask. Oh, I think so. And it is my speculation, not facts. Charles Hoskinson backs it up here and says, by the way, BlackRock and Citadel borrowed 100,000 Bitcoin from Gemini. It appears on their loan books. They swapped 25,000 of that Bitcoin into US Terra. This was all done quietly in anticipation of the attack. When the time was right, they called up Do Kwon at Terra Foundation and said they wanted to sell a lot of Bitcoin for US Terra. As it was a large trade, they told him they didn't want to move the market and asked if he would like to buy their large block of Bitcoin at a discount for US Terra. Do Kwon took the bait. He gave them a huge chunk of US Terra, thus lowering the US Terra liquidity significantly. At that point, BlackRock Citadel dumped all of the Bitcoin and used US Terra, causing massive slippage and triggering a cascade of forced selling in both assets. The real problem was BlackRock Citadel knew that Anchor, which holds a lot of Luna, was a Ponzi scheme. They offered 20% staking APY, for Christ's sake, and this crash would trigger more withdrawals than Anchor can repay. These forced withdrawals and selling would trigger a massive sell-off in Luna, thus further breaking the dollar peg and wrecking the market further. BlackRock and Citadel can now buy the Bitcoin back cheaply to repay the loan and pocket the difference. Meanwhile, billions of longs and Bitcoin VAR were wiped out. This was pure market manipulation. If this happened, it's absolutely what it was. And I said, yep. Charles Hoskinson, and they are doing it to set the stage for regulators and U.S. Treasury to exercise Dodd-Frank Act, FSOC, OFAC, to draft regulation. U.S. government, I believe, will adopt protocol or protocols to declare as systemically important. Keep an eye out on this story. It is not over by a long shot, and we know that has opened the door for Janet Yellen to conveniently call for crypto regulation following U.S. tariff slip, and that is something to pay attention to. And again, to what Charles Hoskinson has suggested, the word on the street is, not facts, but the word certainly on the street is that the top 100 Bitcoin wallets have now added 77,618 Bitcoin worth $2.420 billion in the last 24 hours. He was asked, does this include exchanges? Watcher Guru says without. Now, you have to ask yourself, who thinks Bitcoin is decentralized now? Oh, there's more trouble and more growing pains in the crypto space, and it comes with exchanges, ladies and gentlemen. New disclosures today, says Sophia Zaller here, in Coinbase report, and in the event of a bankruptcy, customers could be treated as our general unsecured creditors. Get your Bitcoin off of it. Get your crypto off exchanges. What the hell are you even holding Bitcoin for? Look what we just went over. Because custodially held crypto assets may be considered to be the property of bankruptcy estate. In the event of a bankruptcy, the crypto assets we hold in custody on behalf of our customers could be subject to bankruptcy proceedings, and such customers could be treated as our general unsecured creditors. That is extremely alarming. If you're not getting it, Nick Winkler says it here too, included in the new language in the latest 10Q, warning crypto investors what might happen to their coins should the company file for bankruptcy. Why would they need to do that? Well, first of all, the stock has gone down extremely low. Maybe they should relist XRP. Moreover, because custodially held crypto may be considered that the property of the bankruptcy estate, in the event of a bankruptcy, you could obviously be eliminated because that could be considered unsecured, general unsecured creditors. This is alarming, ladies and gentlemen, and I can tell you right now, look, this is not financial advice. I'm sharing my digital perspectives. I see these things, and if you get new information, you make new decisions sometimes. Sometimes you decide it's not enough to change my mind. This is enough to change my mind, and it's going to. And that's why I'm telling you all right now about the Ledger cold storage, which is where I'm about to move what I'm holding that I can onto the Ledger. Not financial advice from me or anyone else. Head on a swivel. This is crypto. You never know. I sure hope Jack McDonald from Polysign's right in the second half of 2022 jumps off for crypto like a rising phoenix. We could all use it. I'll catch all of you on the next one.